This thing is an absolute beast.
Can't believe that just happened.
We got the transmission on the jack. It's kind of sketchy at the moment. Welcome to DPV. I'm Josh. I got Forrest Boss here. We're working on his Bronco. So you may recognize this Bronco if you've ever watched Off the Ranch. Matt kind of built this thing a while back over the last few years, and Forrest is trying to drive it from Texas to Alaska, which is what, 5,000 miles?
I think it was like 4,700, so yeah.
5,000
probably 5,000 by the time we get there.
So, but we've got a blown transmission, and luckily Monster Transmission sent him a new one, and so timing worked out. We're gonna swap it out here in the DPV shop. All right, looks like the first thing we gotta do, drop this drive line, drop the T-case. Looks like front and rear drive line. All right, got the drive lines pulled. Forrest is getting ready to pull the starter. I got this transmission linkage marked with a Sharpie. It's a cable actuated, so we just wanna make sure that we don't have to readjust it later. So that's all good. Getting close to being able to pull this T-case. It's starting to cool off. The exhaust is still putting off some good heat. All right. I had to call it quits a little early last night, get a couple hours of sleep for my night shift. But Forrest kept going, got the T-case out, and just about ready to drop this transmission. Alex has now joined us, so we're moving right along here. Had to drop the exhaust down in order to get that cross member out. Every 15-minute job is one broken bolt away from a 6-hour job. So, or one broken AN fitting. Now we got to get this out somehow, and then find a new one. Sorry, man.
Oh, it's not your fault. I would have done the same thing. You look stupid. You just don't do it. Don't show on that part. Coming?
Oh yeah, that's nice. Why I invite this guy.
McGruber! So, break a fitting off on on anything, you don't have a square out, grab yourself a file, shorten down the handle shank, drive it in, you get yourself a square out.
I didn't even know a square out existed.
You were a general contractor. You did plumbing work. You're very popular in plumbing.
I was not a real plumber. Look at that. Sweet. That's awesome. All right, now we just gotta find parts.
Are we hitting down at the bottom? We might be hitting that.
Might be hitting those studs. No, we got the transmission on the jack, and it's kind of sketchy at the moment. So,
Do we just hang out there for a minute?
yeah, just hang out for a minute.
Alright. Sounds good.
All right, yeah, but
What do you want to do how can I make this better for you? Or do you want to just lower it down and resituate it on the jack?
yeah, I think so.
You can pull back then.
Yeah, because I don't want to risk dropping it.
Yeah.
You know, it is really
Precarious.
not good.
Yeah. Okay. This knot on the bottom of this thing is what's really screwed us up. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if let's put another 2x4
In the front of it.
in the front of it.
Yeah.
And get this thing a little bit more stable. And if possible, let's slide this thing back on the jack. Okay, there we go. Then at least I can get my. Alright. I'm centered on the jack now.
You want that block further back?
I think it's actually okay. No, it's good right there. We may just have to bring the whole thing forward on this block though.
No.
Or, we could, yeah.
Like that?
Yep, yeah, because it was trying to tip back.
Okay.
Yeah, that lowered slightly. A little more. Okay.
Okay. The punch.
Sorry.
All right. That system. I need a really small Allen wrench.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Never mind.
I have Allen wrenches.
Dude, are you even like a mechanic? I mean, no, you're just one of
No,
those.
I'm not.
You are one of those big girly office workers.
We can move it to here. I mean, if you can do a leg press again, and then
Yeah.
your body can get out of the way. All right, let's try that
Got
right
it?
now. Yep.
It didn't rotate at all, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got it mostly buttoned up. There's lots of odds and ends to tidy up with the transmission lines, sensors, that kind of stuff, drive lines. But it's coming together. The hard part's over, I think. Anyway, this thing is an absolute beast. I mean, it's got 427, monster transmission, advanced adapters, MP205 with the twin stick, 1 tons, 37s. It's a monster. But that's not the only thing that makes this rig special. It's got a really special backstory. Do you mind telling us about it a little bit?
Yeah, so this was my older brother's truck. It's the first vehicle he ever had, and then he actually passed this down to me. He kind of taught me how to drive stick in this, and
We got in all kinds of trouble back in whenever he was in high school and I was still learning to drive and everything. And fast forward, my brother went to the Air Force Academy, became a pilot, ended up getting stationed here at Fairchild, kind of not too far from here. And I think on his, it was either like a 6th or 7th deployment, they ended up having in-flight emergency. They had basically the tail ended up separating. At that point, she's flying rocks, though. Unfortunately, him and the 2 other crew members all perished. That was back in 2013 in Kyrgyzstan. And so I obviously kind of I don't know if it was ever his or mine, it was kind of up in the air. We kind of just both shared it up to that point. At that point, I kind of like took ownership back of it again, but I didn't really have a whole lot of time to work on it. It's kind of just like slowly falling apart. And it was, you know, one of those things that I didn't want it to just sit and rot. I was living in Alaska at the time. I didn't really have time whenever I'd fly back to Texas, and definitely couldn't fly it up to or ship it up to Alaska anyhow. And so ended up giving it to Matt at Demo Ranch, off the ranch, and kind of just was like, hey, go have fun with it. You know, Matt and Tyler were good friends in high school and college, and you know, I figured he would just like do a little bit here and there, have fun, you know, take his kids around, and it ended up turning into like a 5-year process for him. And he tore everything apart, pulled the body off the frame, obviously, you know, did 99% of the work that y'all see here, and kind of like, I guess, whatever happened during that process, he decided that you know, he wanted me to have the Bronco back, so he ended up giving it back to me, and I decided that I had to drive it up because that would just seem like the right thing to do. And so started driving up to Alaska. Unfortunately, blew the transmission, and 4th gear blew, so unfortunately I didn't have 4th gear, so definitely not something I could make the rest of the way. And fortunately, these guys, Josh and his brother-in-law, volunteered a ton of their time, and have been super generous to help me get it all back together, so hopefully get this thing rolling soon.
Right on. Forrest is gonna go finish it up here and hopefully get a little more footage for us. And then I'll make sure I link his channel down below so you can follow the rest of his trip back up to Alaska. I'm sure it's gonna have some more adventures.
Hopefully not too much.
Hopefully nothing like this, but you know, at least some fun along the way.
I'm about adventured out.
But it's been a good time. I love wrenching on 4-wheel drives. All right, well, good luck, and
yeah,
it's been fun getting to know you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks again for everything. Hope y'all can make a visit to Alaska so I can properly thank y'all, because yeah, y'all put a ton of time into this thing, and I really appreciate it.
Cool. Well, I gotta get to sleep. I'm on night shift this week, so we'll check back with Forrest here in a little bit and see how the rest of the project goes.
Well, I thought I was getting close. I thought I just had to put this bracket on, front diff, fill it up, plug it in, zip tie and whatnot. And I went to push this up and I realized that hits. So I have to undo this whole entire shifter, which Alex just spent, I don't know, hour plus trying to get it right. So hopefully I can put it back together the way it was. This bolt up in here, right there, you can see it's loose. Somehow a thread stripped out of it. Oh man, this thing's just fighting me every step of the way. Had a really hard time getting that bolt hold the line up, so I ended up strapping the trailing arms to each other, and that finally brought it over where I could get it close enough to get that through. So hopefully, just gotta tighten up the transmission bracket now, and then put the shift linkage back on. I think I've got everything buttoned up down there, and see what happens. Well, somehow time's come to throw some fluid in and see what kind of mess we made. Sorry, Josh. I turned your garage and floor into a mess. Got transmission fluid everywhere. Got a big spill here, a couple splotches. You can see the red. But Bronco drove itself out under its own power, so that's exciting.
All right, well, we got the transmission swapped out in the Bronco. But unfortunately, the time kind of ran out. Had a few minor issues we gotta deal with. And so Forrest is not able to take it back up to Alaska on this trip. But fortunately for me, I get to keep the Bronco for a little bit, which is pretty awesome. Never expected something like this to transpire. So I'm so glad I'm able to help Forrest out on this. So we're gonna keep it here at the DPV shop for a few months, tidy up a few loose ends, try to make it a little more roadworthy. And in October, we're gonna finish that trip back up to Alaska. Pretty awesome rig, anytime you're riding on 37s, it's pretty awesome. So anyway, thank you, Forrest, for giving me this opportunity. This has been a lot of fun. It was fun wrenching on this thing. Hopefully Alex and I can get this thing fixed up for you a little bit better and then deliver it to you in October. I'm pretty excited. Thanks so much for all your support, guys. Wheel it, wreck it, wrench it, repeat. See you next time.